Imagine rooting for a team that constantly promises change, but keeps stumbling over the same mistakes. A team that talks about evolution, about commitment to the future, but in practice always seems to return to the same starting point. No matter how many times they say they've learned, that they'll do things differently, their actions continue to scream otherwise. Meanwhile, the fans, passionate, loyal, weary, watch from the best seats as another chapter in a story that insists on repeating itself. And just when you think nothing can surprise you anymore, along comes another decision that makes everyone wonder, will this ever really change? But then stay with me and I'll tell you all about it. But first, be sure to click the like button to stay well informed. Now, the Cleveland Browns are once again at the center of a storm that they themselves can't seem to escape or fix. A pattern is emerging, and it's no longer just a coincidence or a one-off bad decision. It's a full-blown organizational identity crisis. When rookie running back Quinton Judkins was arrested on a charge of domestic violence, it was already the third such incident involving a Browns player in just the past year. Yet when team owner Jimmy Haslam took the mic at his annual training camp press conference, he didn't offer answers, he offered frustration. A frustration that, according to his own words, doesn't come with solutions. And that's exactly where this story begins. We're not communicating as well as we should, Haslam admitted, standing alongside his wife Dee, as if to reinforce the public image of carrying ownership. We talk about it continually and it's something we need to do a better job on. But here's the problem, this isn't new. It's not breaking news that the Browns have a culture problem when it comes to player conduct and violence against women. It's a culture they've not only allowed to persist, they've enabled it with their decisions. Deshaun Watson's 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract was the loudest message they've ever sent. And what that message said was, we care more about talent than character. Haslam later said trading for Watson was a mistake, but not because of the sexual assault allegations that surrounded the quarterback at the time. That detail is important. It reveals everything you need to know about what matters most in Berea. Let's pause here. Ask yourself this. What would happen in your workplace if 3 employees were connected to allegations of violence or misconduct in a single year? Would leadership step in and make changes? Would policies be rewritten, accountability reestablished? Or would they shrug, say it's frustrating, and go back to business as usual? Because that's what's happening in Cleveland. Judkins, for the record, is no longer facing charges. Prosecutors dropped the case due to insufficient evidence. That doesn't mean he's guilty, and it doesn't mean he's innocent. It means the system didn't deliver clarity. And in that murkiness, the Browns found their comfort zone. No internal discipline. No suspensions. No real consequences. They moved on. Then, just days later, they signed undrafted rookie Isaiah Bond, another player who had recently faced sexual assault allegations. Bond, once projected to be a Day 2 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, went undrafted after the allegations surfaced. A Texas grand jury declined to indict him. Again, not guilty. Not innocent. Legally unresolved. But to the Browns, that's not a deterrent. It's an opportunity. Bond signed with Cleveland immediately after being cleared. In fact, he had already filed a federal complaint against his accuser, claiming he was pursued and preyed upon for months. It's a strong counter-narrative, one that's easy for fans to latch onto, particularly in a climate that often rushes to discredit accusers in favor of on-field talent. And let's be honest, that's not just a Browns problem. It's an NFL problem. It's a sports problem. It's a societal problem. But in Cleveland, it's becoming a signature. A pattern so visible, so repetitive, that even the most loyal fans are starting to ask, how much more of this can we stomach? Jimmy Haslam says they talk about it. Internally. Externally. Speakers. Workshops. They talk. But actions speak louder, and the Browns' actions scream, we'll keep doing this if it helps us win. Meanwhile, while the organization faces a moral crossroads off the field, there's a very different type of battle being fought on it, a battle for relevance, credibility, and answers. Because this franchise isn't just trying to outrun bad press. It's trying to fix a defense, an offense, a locker room, and a record that was 3-14 just a season ago. And while leadership dodges the hard questions, the players are being forced to answer their own. Cornerback Denzel Ward, for instance, isn't dodging anything. According to multiple reports, including insider Zach Jackson from The Athletic, Ward looked like the MVP during joint practices with the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that just played in the Super Bowl. Ward was locked in. He shut down Devonta Smith. He disrupted A.J. Brown. He embarrassed whoever was in front of him. In fact, he was so good, the Eagles just stopped throwing his way. That's not just elite talent. That's dominance. And Cleveland desperately needs it, because Martin Emerson Jr., the promising young corner expected to start alongside Ward, is now out for the year with a torn Achilles. That injury reshuffles everything. Greg Newsome moves back outside, away from the nickel role where he's more comfortable. And anyone, will have to step up inside. But no one is stepping up with the confidence or consistency Ward brings to the field. He's the anchor now, both in skill and leadership. And this team? It's floating. At the same time, a major weakness was exposed during those same practices with Philly. The wide receivers couldn't catch the ball. Drops plagued both days. Not one or two guys, it was across the board. Rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel, fighting for a spot while Shedeur Sanders and Kenny Pickett recover from injuries, threw a perfect pass over the middle to veteran receiver Deontay Johnson. It bounced off his hands and into a defender's arms. Interception. That wasn't an isolated mistake. It was a symptom of a much larger problem. Cleveland chose not to improve its receiver room this offseason, betting instead on growth from within. Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, Jamari Thrash, and rookie tight end Harold Fannin are now expected to carry the load. And if Thursday's practice was any indication, they're not ready. Gabriel, for his part, is trying to seize a moment he didn't expect. A hamstring injury kept him off the field early in camp. He's now playing catch-up, literally. Analysts like Chris Broussard are already calling this Saturday's preseason matchup with the Eagles a make-or-break moment for Gabriel. And with numbers like 7-4-24 in joint practices, the pressure is real. Still, all eyes remain on the front office, because until this team shows that it's capable of learning from its own mistakes, everything else might be noise. Let me hear from you, Browns fans. Where do you stand on this? Are you buying the excuses from Haslam, or is it time for the organization to make real changes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And while the off-field controversies cast a long shadow, the spotlight now turns to the quarterback position, a revolving door that continues to define the Browns' identity crisis. Rookie Dillon Gabriel steps into that firestorm, not with hype or expectation, but with desperation. Injuries to Shedeur Sanders and Kenny Pickett have opened the door for Gabriel to start against the Eagles in the preseason, a golden opportunity wrapped in uncertainty. Chris Broussard's warning was clear. This could be Gabriel's big break or his final shot. And the numbers from practice don't lie. 3 touchdowns but a dismal 7-4-24 completion rate in joint sessions with the Eagles. He showed flashes, sure, but timing issues, miscommunication, and, most damning, receiver drops have sabotaged his chances before they've even fully developed. Coaches love his willingness to push the ball downfield. His pocket presence shows maturity beyond his reps, but in this league, you don't get points for potential. You get them for production. And when you're playing behind a second-string offensive line, with unproven weapons dropping catchable passes, how much of the blame is really on Gabriel? This Saturday's game won't just determine his depth chart status. It could shape the front office's view of the team's entire offensive strategy. If Gabriel falters again, the Browns may be forced to explore outside options or double down on the veterans returning from injury. This is the tension Browns fans live with every season, the hope of progress buried beneath the weight of dysfunction. There's talent here. There's even leadership in flashes. Denzel Ward, for example, looks ready to carry this defense. But leadership at the top? That's still MIA. Now, I want to hear from you. Is Dillon Gabriel the answer behind center, or just another name in Cleveland's long list of quarterback experiments? Let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Go Browns!